important. We're talking about building young minds. And when we're talking about building young minds, driver's education is one of the most important things all of us will do. I honestly had the opportunity to have taught driver's ed for over 23 years. But things are a little bit different today because of COVID, because of a lot of insecurities we all have. So I'm going to take you through the process of day two in being that strong emotional support for young teens as well as adults. Let's talk about our emotional building blocks right now. Me talking to you, I am definitely very friendly and I am a little bit anxious, but also I'm enthusiastic. I often ask my students where you are is really important because we're talking about getting out to a major road, learning how to drive. And it's extremely important that you have a positive mindset once you get out. Because coming into driver's education, you're very overwhelmed. You have a bunch of strangers. You have a teacher saying, "Come on in, have a seat." Parents are outside the door. You see them hugging their babies, kissing them for the final time. But you have to think, you have to put yourself in their shoes. How do they feel? They're very nervous. They're very overwhelmed. They're not sure what the outcome is going to be. So let's talk about a timetable. We try to get students done within 30 days. It is Wednesday, March 29th. 30 days, you should be done and have your certificate if you sign up for driving within the first week. So I'm going to talk about that process. And we mentioned 30 days. Typically, I drive anywhere from 15 to about 25 students. Okay. So 30 days is the time frame where I have to teach the class for 2 hours. We drive before class, we drive after class, we drive on the weekends. So I'm going to take you through that process so you understand. So when you go through the process, you can look back at what you've seen and say, okay, I'm doing pretty good. But first, it has to be choices. And let's talk about these choices right now. Making every decision carefully. When you decide to enroll in a driver's education program, it is truly a personal decision because this is the first step toward adulthood. We don't teach kids how to drive. Okay, 14.9 is when you can start driving. It varies from state to state, province to province. So that is extremely important. So the decision to come into driver's ed is a very personal one. And I have seen students who are not mature enough to take driver's ed, or students who are 16, 17, 18, and 19. And because of COVID, we see groups of students who are 18, 20, 23, 24, because COVID has robbed a lot of us from that connection piece with humans. Okay? So that mindset. Let's go to choices number two. Thinking everything thoroughly through responsibly. You have to think of what is the outcome. Are your parents going to be able to pick you up? Do you have a ride to practice? Because a lot of times I see kids, young adults enrolling in driver's ed, but they didn't think it through. Someone has to drop me off. Someone has to pick me up. Most parents, I'm a parent, I'm a teacher, I'm an instructor, we have jobs. You have another sibling. Mom or dad's going to either drop you off or pick you back up. So the classes, they go on all year long. They're anywhere in the summer, they're 9 to 11, 11 to 1, 3 to 5, uh, 7 to 9. It just depends on where the customer need is. So, parents, you're going to be going through the process too because you got to be able to pick up your son or daughter. Okay. Number three, exercising your freedom to choose. Good driver's ed companies, and there are a lot of them out there, have great resources. And I've always wanted to be connected with a company that is on cutting edge technology. They have good resources. And a lot of those resources are proprietary, but I have some custom resources that will be available soon. But a lot of schools have a curriculum, and good driving schools should have a curriculum, a state certified curriculum. This is traffic safety education, teacher's resource guide. So, what is in here? We have resources on road signs, we have information about pavement markings, we have activities on driving in subdivisions, we have other information on how you do parking, what is the correct process, 12 lesson, 24 lesson. Every day you get a little bit deeper into driver's education. And from what I've seen, it's road signs that give a lot of students difficulties. This is a yield sign. And if you don't know what this yield sign is, you might blow a yield sign and cause an accident. This means no U turn. This is a regulatory sign, which means you cannot do this versus the law. You will get a ticket. This is a warning sign. This means slippery when wet. This could be on a bridge, this could be on a curb, this could be on a hill. So these signs give you information to help you understand. And good instructors won't just fly by the seat of their pants. They will introduce this information because that's the teacher. You'll write your objectives on the board. Today, we will be learning about pavement markings. Students will have a worksheet. They'll work for 25 minutes in groups of two. We'll discuss it. We'll go over the answers. Then we'll do a structured educational game. And then I look at the data of what signs did they miss? What pavement markings did they get right? And then we review this. So I have some custom educational things also too. It's really important that you make this commitment. A lot of people are waiting until they're 16, 17, 18, 20, 22, 23. And if you're over 18, you have to get something called a TIP. A TIP is a temporary instruction permit. You will go to the DMV, you'll pay your fee, it could be $18, $22. You will take a knowledge test there, and I have some test prep for you guys. You will take a knowledge test. They may check your vision. Then for 30 days, you need to be driving with someone over 21 who is a licensed driver, who can give you that emotional support, who's not going to be screaming at you, who's not going to be grabbing the wheel, because we're all new. And if you have someone who's not loving and not caring, you simply won't be your best self. Good instructors are kind. They have a good sense of humor. They're always encouraging you to do your best. They will tell you in advance, hey, I need you to make a left turn at the corner. At the next light, I'd like you to stop and make a right turn. They always give you time to process the information. Okay? So that's really important that you find that good fit. You go talk to the instructors. You talk to the owner of the company. Good companies will allow you to come into the classroom. Is it a virtual class? And those are very popular. Is it an in person class? But there's a limit to the number of people. In person is about 36, and 36 is a huge group to manage. I drive anywhere from 12 to about 20 kids. That's over a 6 week period. That's driving a little bit after class. That's driving Saturday all day, Sunday all day, but you can set your own schedule. Remember what I said? Going back to the schedule. Good instructors, remember, we're talking about that emotional support, right? When you have good emotional support, you can think clearly, because a lot of students will say, I have to check with my parents. I'm not sure. I work. Okay, example, I set my schedule yesterday. I've had 3 or 4 students text me, hey, I can't drive on Thursday. Can we move my time? We're going out of town. So I have to be willing to adjust my schedule. So within 30 days, that first week of driving, you're very tight. You're very tense, right? We talk about our emotional building blocks. My beginning drivers are very anxious. They're anxious to get out there. And I have to calm them down. Relax them. I'm going to give you a pro tip. You want to wear comfortable shoes. Thin sole shoes are very important so you can feel the gas and brake. Some drivers are also confident, overconfident, and that's dangerous too. I want a student who is enthusiastic because I'm an enthusiastic person. I want someone who's friendly, right? And I'm looking for someone who is very inspired because when you match those personalities, it's a win win. And then I always talk to the parents after we have a drive, whether it's good, but it's a good drive. A good drives. Well, first we didn't crash, right? I always say that. I always have a good sense of humor. But number one, we didn't have any near misses, blowing a light, hitting a curb, yielding and letting pedestrians go by. You have to have a sense of humor, but you also have to have what? Your kid gloves on. Because as an instructor, you're the adult in charge. I put my student safety on my back. Okay. If something happens, it's me. Okay. And I need you to remember my mindset is this. This is my mindset. Testing in progress. And naturally, we are nervous when we're tested. You have someone evaluating you. You hit the curb, or you ran a yellow light. So I always have to remember, and I want my students to feel secure when I'm teaching them. You always have to be patient and loving and understanding when you have beginning drivers, okay? Because everyone is different. Those first couple of drives, you're very tight, you're very nervous. Let's go back to the emotional building block. You have a lot of anxiousness, and this anxiousness can make you hit the gas really hard or hit the brake. As an instructor, I have to stay calm. I have to be confident in my ability, but I also need to be humble. I need to be enthusiastic because I teach to prepare them for adulthood. I teach to prepare them for success. And I also want to stay friendly. Friendly is really important because you're going to see your students grow that first day in the class. You're going to see them mature. Also, on the other side, we see sometimes teens and adults get immature and get a little bit silly. And then you have to pull them out in the hallway and talk to them because we're all human. So those building blocks do change. So in that first drive, you're very anxious, right? You're nervous. You need someone who's going to be loving and supportive to you. And I can tell you many stories about parents. Dads, woohoo! You get the award because most students, I'm not being honest, parents, most students want to drive with their dads. Their dads are very chilled, very relaxed. Mama bear, grabbing the wall, grabbing. Parents, take your time. And I always give feedback. And then some of you will say, well, you drive with him. Well, I am driving with your baby. And I'm going to give you that emotional support. On that second drive, you're going to be more inspired, right? You're going to want to get better and be inspired to learn. And I always give you that good feedback. Also, I want to talk about my mind is set for growth. I have to see you getting better. Every single class that I teach, I have to grow. I have to learn new things. I have to talk to instructors. I have to do my research. I want my class to be very dynamic, high energy. I don't want it to be boring. So I have my interactive custom learning games that I made. I have a select number of videos that I show that will give students in-car support. That is extremely important. And talk to your students about the type of car. Some cars are very slow on the takeoff, other cars are very fast on the takeoff. Steering is extremely important. You want to show your students how to turn the wheel, okay? When you do your best work, you will learn. And when you learn, you'll be super successful. It takes growth, it takes opportunity. So you want to have a fixed mindset to grow. I can't teach what I taught last year. I have to improve because I challenge myself to get better. and that's your mindset. Let's talk about smart goals. You have to set some goals. Setting smart goals. Okay. And a lot of my teaching material is proprietary. I can't give it out to the public. Okay. I can modify it, I could make it fit the needs. So if you are interested in some of this material, uh, reach out to me. But I can't just give you the resources. I can't give you the traffic safety education resources because it is proprietary to the company and they modify it to fit the needs of the learner. If this is bringing you value, give it a thumbs up. But I wanted to talk about setting goals. You want to specify, what do I want to accomplish? I want to teach you how to drive. I want to show you how to parallel park. I want you to line up your car, back, cut your wheels all the way to the right. The rear of the car goes into the right, the front swings out. Once you're halfway, turn the wheel in the opposite direction. Most students around third parallel park, you will learn how to parallel park. Parallel parking is hard because you don't prepare. You don't push yourself and set that mental mindset. Okay? I have a job to do once I'm out teaching my students. My job is to get you comfortable in the car. My job is to have 12 right turns, 12 left turns. My job is to show you how to pull into a driveway and do reverse parking. My job is to teach you and get you comfortable on the road. And that is my mindset for growth, a fixed mindset. You have to have that fixed mindset in order to grow. You have to be prepared to come in and take good notes, listen to your instructor, ask questions, and it should be a friendly, and we're talking about the emotional building blocks, around that second or third day, it should be friendly, right? It's got to be friendly in the classroom, friendly in the car. And if there's a problem with an instructor, I want you to come talk to me and tell me why you don't feel comfortable. What is the problem? What is going on? How can I help you grow? And how can I help you get better? Around that third drive, you're going to be more kind. And instructors really need to model those things for the students. You mirror what the teacher's doing in the classroom. I've been on both sides. I've been the behind the wheel instructor, and I like to sit in a few minutes to see how the instructor is teaching. Are they just going over the basics? Are they going deep? Are they providing good story time? Are they using real life examples? Are they a young teacher coming out of college? Are they an older teacher who just doesn't care? Usually that 10 to 25-year person is good. They're well seasoned. They know how to manage the class. They'll let you talk some. When it's time to share, everyone is quiet and they demand attention. They show respect and love. I want to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to talk about some of the things that will cause you to fail your test. Number one, exceeding the speed limit. We have to drive at the current speed limit. If it's 45, you need to be driving at 45 miles an hour. If you go over 45, that is an automatic failure. I need you to understand this. So when I'm out driving with my students, I teach you to get up to the speed limit, check the sign, check your speedometer, and hold your foot on that gas. I wanted to read from this. Speeding is an automatic failure. It is important not to drive too slow as you can lose points for obstructing the flow of traffic. For this reason, we recommend you familiarize yourself with the speed limit. That's the first thing. Speed control is so important. If you're getting value right now, subscribe, give it a thumbs up because I'm a state certified instructor. I'm sharing with you what day two and emotional support is like. What is it like? What makes a good driving instructor? What makes a poor driving instructor? Everyone has a different level of passion. Number two, failing to show caution at an uncontrolled intersection. Intersections are the most dangerous place. If you're not watching for pedestrians, you're not watching for cars going lights, we can simply get hit. And no one wants to be hit. That is serious. Every test route must take you through at least one uncontrolled intersection. You have to stop, look left, right, left. We have to see you turning your head. When I get my students in the car, I get them adjusted, get that seat adjusted. If you're taller, you move the seat back. If you're shorter, you move the seat forward. Ideally, you want to be 8 to 10 inches away from the steering wheel. We don't want our face on top of the steering wheel. Okay? Everyone is different. Putting your hands on the steering wheel in a position, that's a whole new subject. But what I will say is there is no absolute best way to hold the steering wheel. So I want you to know this. You have to have two hands on the wheel. It could be 9 and 3. It could be 10 and 2. It could be 10 and 2. It could be 7 and 5. The truth is, you're going to learn from your parents because you've been watching them since you were 2 or 3. You're going to learn from your older siblings. You're going to learn from your instructor. When I take my students out tonight, the first thing we're going to talk about is hand placement. I'm going to come over and I'm going to adjust that seat for them. Okay? And I want them comfortable. You should have a bend in your arms and knees so you can pivot your right foot between the gas and brake. We drive automatics 90%. I do know how to drive a manual. That's a whole nother story. If you're interested in that, let me know. So we want to put our left foot to the dead pedal. Our right foot is pivoting between the gas and brake. Remember what I said? No open toe sandals, no slides, thin-soled shoes. Because what do beginning drivers do? They hit that brake and the car stops really quick, or they pop the gas and the car just simply goes away. So we want to have smooth transitions between the gas and brake. Let's continue on some other information to help you. Rolling stops. We want to stop completely for 3 seconds. 1001, 1002, and 1003. After you stop for 3 seconds, you do your verification checks, and then you proceed. Let's look at this. Stops means stop. Your wheels must stop moving. Many experienced drivers are in the habit of coming to rolling stops. We see this all the time. People just roll stops in neighborhoods. Neighborhoods are the most dangerous place. So when you start, we'll do figure eights through the school parking lot. We'll go around the building. We'll get into the neighborhood. And then after that, we will start making those right turns, learning proper hand over hand or hand to hand, making those left turns, proper technique. And then once you do your proper technique, you're going to start having muscle memory. Let's go back to those emotional building blocks. Around that 4th to 5th drive, you may be more peaceful. I'm looking for peace. And I'm going to ask you, where are you? Okay? And I want you to be at peace. Also, many students, I want you to express yourself. I want to be honest with you. If you're doing a great job, I'm going to tell your parents. If you're struggling and you're overconfident, I'm going to tell your parent because they are your caregivers. Okay? Let's continue. Next, climbing the curb. Okay? Your wheels touch the curb. You go over the curb. Whether you're turning, parking, or climbing the curb is an automatic fail. I agree 100%. I've been in the cars with students before, and what happens? They hit the curb, the car goes up on the curb, they panic, they hit the gas, we almost hit a sign, or they panic and we hit the brake. So we want to treat our drivers in a car with love and care. They really do live a hard life. I don't think all of you understand. 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, running continuously. Tires and brakes are pushed to the max. Plus power steering fluid. Why? We're constantly turning right. We're constantly turning left. There's a lot to consider. And that's where that maturity piece comes in. If your teen or young adult is not ready, they should not be enrolled in a driver's ed program. Driver's education is a privilege, not a right. I don't owe you anything, nor does any other driver's education company owe you. And the state or province owns your driver's license. You do not own it. So I need you to be aware of that. Number 5, failing to yield to a car or pedestrian. I like to take my students in downtown areas. Why? Parking, angle parking. You're pulling in at a 45 angle. Stall parking. You're pulling in and pulling straight in. Parallel parking, reverse parallel parking, where you line your car up and then you reverse back, cutting your wheel all the way to the right, the rear goes in, and you turn it back to the opposite direction. You have to know how to turn your wheel. Your instructor should be hitting those fundamentals every single day. Extremely important. I've given you a lot of solid information today. I'm taking you through the journey. Look through my materials, look through my content, subscribe to my channel, leave questions.